Hello, folks. We are sponsored by Next Gen Power. If you don't know what Next Gen Power is about, they provide green energy solutions powered by the sun. So you can save money and reduce your carbon footprint in doing so. Now, with rising costs on fuel, we're all feeling the pinch at the moment. You can take control of your monthly costs in your home or business and save up to 70% on your energy bills while doing so. So check it out, their website at nextgenpower.uk, get a free quote, and hopefully we can save you some money. Hey folks, welcome back to the He Doesn't Want a podcast. After a long sabbatical, we're finally back, and my first guest is Lee McCartney from Greenisland. Lee, how are you, mate? You all good?
Yes, Gary, all good, mate. Thanks for inviting me on.
Mate, we're glad to have you on it. The first time around when I had the podcast on the go, I think it was my second or third interview, was with Dinger Bell, who is obviously a former player. So coming back 3 or 4 years later, and then it's almost full circle, going right round to Greenisland again, getting us on.
Yes, no bar. I remember Dinger's interview well. Say he got the back ripped out of him for it, and I'd probably get the same too. You said former player there. He's still with us. I think around about
Is
that
he?
time.
Yeah.
He was on one of his retirements, but he's still with us and still going well. Aye.
I thought he should have hung it up a wee while ago, but he's obviously still going.
He just won't listen to us. Nah, he's having a great season, so he is. In fairness, he's doing well. I think he's a year older than me as well, so he's doing better than I am.
I didn't actually realise he was back. In fairness, fair play to him. It's some going. In terms of season, so
another podcast.
Mate, in terms of season, so far you are sitting well in the race for promotion. How's your season went so far in 1C?
On track, mate, I would say. It was a key priority for us to be in the mix around this time of the season. Promotion was obviously the target, so I would say we're definitely on track for that. We've had a good season, had a really good run of games there. Only say with the one defeat so far. So yes, we're going well, but overall I would say just definitely on track.
That one defeat, you say it was against the title challengers, Willowbank, who you still have to play again this season. Did you find out much that day about your squad, their squad, and how do you feel about going into when you have to play them again?
We actually have to play them again this Saturday.
Right.
So I don't want to give too much away. Obviously going into that game, it's a bigger one now than what we'd hope for. But playing them away, losing the result, I thought was a bit harsh. We were certainly in the game. We went 1-0 up early. But for me, they scored a key times. Scored just before half time to equalise. They scored within a few minutes of the second half starting. We equalised around about 65th minute or 70th minute or something like that. And before we got time to settle, they had the ball in the back of our net again to go 3-2 up. So we found ourselves with about 20 minutes to go chasing the game. And we got caught out twice. So the result in itself was it was a tough one to take. But say we're hoping to put that right this Saturday. And I feel we need to.
Do you think a Saturday's is must win for your team, or is just must not lose?
For us now, we certainly can't lose a game. And if we're going to do anything about where the title's won this season, it has to be a win for us. It's out of our hands, but we have to do our own wee bits there too. We have 5 games left. I think Willowbank have 9 games. And there's still some tough places to go as well. So, but with this one being a home game, we'd hope to be able to put the previous result right this time around.
Yeah, at the moment you have the points on the board. Willowbank are playing catch up, but of course this Saturday being pivotal, and then they've all those games left to play. So coming into the run in the last few games this season, is there any particular opponents you to come up against where you're thinking, apart from the Willowbank game this Saturday, that they'll be really tough because you're going to have to try and win every game?
Yeah. Well, if you're looking at the league table, I would say I wouldn't be dismissing anybody certainly out of the top 5. But if you look at the likes of Finaghy, they have games in hand as well. Ourselves, Finaghy, Willowbank all have to play each other. I think with those teams of maybe the likes of Woodville and Shorts and Bloomfield and Donald, I think they're all tough places to go. I think they'll all be in the mix, and they'll definitely have a bit to say about where any of the results go this season, But it's a tough competitive league with a lot of good teams in it. So I mean, I would say out of our 5 games left, none of them are going to be easy. But I'd rather have 5 than any more than that, and going away to some of them tough places we've already been this season. I wouldn't be looking forward to going to them again. So yes, we'll have our fingers crossed that somebody else can put a dent in our 2 closest rivals there. But say we just have to look after ourselves and hope we do our bit.
Yeah, the club Greenisland, of course, promoted from 2A 3 or 4 years ago, year before COVID. So close to getting promotion, and then the season was curtailed. And then fast forward a year and a half after COVID, last year you just missed out in promotion. So it has been a whirlwind the last couple of years. M1C, are you hoping this time that this is finally your year to get out of the league?
It's hopefully, it should be. Say last season was difficult. Just a couple of teams were better on us, and when all the dust settled, we just didn't do enough. So I mean, I only took a job this summer or over the summer there, after being the second team manager. And I mean, I seen us as the strongest team in the league, where we should be challenging. We should be at the very least promotion favourites, So yeah, it should be our time. Hopefully it is. But to say we're not going to get anything on it to us here for free.
Yeah, and then in the last couple of years, the likes even this year, you had a decent Irish Cup run, so you're mixing it with teams at a higher level in the cup competitions. And then, do you then feel if the club is to get promotion, you can keep pushing forward as a club and keep aiming higher?
Yeah, of course. We're cup runs cups weren't great for us at this season, but to say the league has been and remains a priority. Best cup run we had there was in the Irish Cup. We got into the 4th round. We lost out to Crumlin United away. That was a tough place to go, tough match. But say mixing up with teams at a higher level, I think the week before that game, in the Intermediate Cup, I believe, we had a good away win against the Immaculata. So good day followed by a bad day. But I say cups didn't hurt us too much this season. But with the league being on our focus, But yes, it's nice to be able to mix it with the big teams, and hopefully that's where we're aiming for in the not so distant future.
Yeah, Greenisland's a massive club, and then with such a successful youth setup as well. I'm sure that the plan for the club the next 4 or 5 years, you have a strong committee as well. I'm sure that you're planning on pushing up as high into the amateur league as you can.
Yeah, say everyone's driving the same way here. I mean, you said it yourself, we've got a fantastic committee. We've got plenty of support. We've got lots of great people, and we're all pushing the same way. So certainly, if and when we can get ourselves to a point where we can make that step up, we shouldn't be waiting on anything, So we're definitely striving and pushing forward on all fronts there.
Yeah, well, I remember plenty of times going down to Greenisland myself with Ford, and we were always made very welcome. So it's a great club, and I do really wish you the best of success, and I hope you can the best of luck for going for promotion this year. I really hope you get what you deserve.
Thank you very much, Gary. I appreciate that.
And thanks very much for coming on as well, mate. I really appreciate your time, and hopefully get you on later in the year and maybe get a full interview with you.
Okay, no bother. Happy to support it.
Cheers, mate. See you. Speak to you later. Hello, folks. This episode is sponsored by Pizza Co. Pizza Co have 5 stores delivering across Belfast, Lisburn, and Glengormley, and you can find them on their website at thepizzaco.co.uk, or the Pizza Co app was available in the app stores. They have many deals, but the best deal for me would have to be Mighty Monday, which is buy one get one free every single Monday. Not only is it good value, but their pizzas and sides taste great also. So check it out, you won't be disappointed. I'm here with Willowbank's Decky McCrory, and I've been trying to get Decky on for a couple of years, so it's great to finally get him on as an individual talking about football. Although he would never come on and talk about himself, he must be too modest. Decky, how are you, mate? You all good?
All good, all good. Can't wait to get out that rain, start training here tonight.
I know, mate, it looks appealing and really, really jealous of it, so I am myself.
Well, hop up the players and the ones in the shorts. Be all right.
Well, here, this is when you'll see it, because I was speaking to McCartney from Greenisland the other night, and he was telling me you play each other on Saturday. So I'm sure you'll have a full turnout tonight, and the boys will be buzzing regardless of weather.
Oh, 100%. Well, there's two notable absentees tonight. There's wee Conal McGuire and Decky McCrory both have been asked to go for wee trials for the Rose Bowl tonight.
Right.
So they'll not be there, but apart from that, we'll have a full quota there training. So I mean, it's not as if they're in the house putting the feet up either. They'll be put to their places.
I was just about to say to you there, like I was about to say how you found 1C, but it just goes to show how you have found 1C. There's two of your players coming up and then going to possibly represent the Rose Bowl team.
Oh, well, hopefully, I mean, they're only on a trial tonight. God knows how many players they have over there, and obviously severe quality throughout the leagues, the divisions. But in terms of 1C, it's been much. Well, 2A was a tough division. We didn't win it for the first time. We progressed up every division and ended up league champions, thankfully, every time. Apart from 2A, we found it challenging. But 1C's been hard for different reasons because I think the whole setup of the season's been back to front from what we were used to at junior football. Yeah. Obviously, all the cup games come thick and fast at the start of the season, intermediate, whereas we were used to that kind of coming after Christmas and, you got the cup buzz and stuff. But it felt like our season nearly ended after all the cups. It was just constant cup after cup after cup. And obviously, we were put out of every cup. Whereas we were used to, a long run in the Junior Shield, the Junior Cup, or whatever.
Yeah.
Not for lack of good performances or whatever. Some decent sides put us out. Count ourselves unlucky 1 or 2 games, but I mean that's the way it goes. And it was just like at Christmas, it was like, right, we'll take a break here, and we're coming back for an actual league season. So we'll start playing league matches.
Yeah, because it's great. Like the way you are built, like he's one Junior Cup, one Junior Shields, there's one Cochrane Corey's, one Junior Shield multiple times as well. So I never really thought about that before, but it's completely right because usually around this time of year you're still competing for quarterfinal, semi-finals and stuff, whereas you're going through them early rounds against higher opposition in the likes of the Irish Cup, Intermediate Cup and stuff, and you're challenging yourself every week. So you probably felt that on a wee bit of a downer when you just went out of certain cups and then had to kind of reboot almost again to go for the league season.
Massively. I mean, it's such a change in mentality for our boys. I mean, I'm not saying we got it easy, but some of yourself, some of the draws you get, teams are in the Junior Cup or Junior Shield or whatever, and they're not that high standard, and we would be kind of towards the higher kind of aspects of junior football last season. Yeah. So we could have kind of went out with 1 or 2 players missing, or maybe not 100% ourselves and got through it. But we found in the cup competition, certainly the Irish Cup, we went down the windmill, give a good account of ourselves, we put out penalties, put about a good 18th Nobby side, put out by Dariaki as well, just solid in the Border Cups, solid outfits. Every team you play, you have to be on it. It's not as if we didn't get chances those games. We weren't as ruthless, and teams are now ruthless. So if we give away a chance or two, especially the way we play, very open, very responsive, and teams can be organised, fit, and then they pounce behind the ball and create chances, and they usually take them, which we found our detriment. And then there was that mentality change then to try and get the boys back on side. There's another trophy here to be won in the league, and thankfully the boys have got the head around it, and we've hit the ground running after Christmas again. And we've hit some good being a form there and played some hard teams. At Tullycarn and Salary there were very organised, really well coached, and they were fortunate to find themselves 2 men down just before half time. And then we played Greenisland, as you mentioned there, the week previous, not the week previous, there was games called off, but the last game we played the week before that. Again, another really well coached side, good, really able, fit team. And I think the standard in general it is quite good across the board, to be fair, in the league. Everyone's really organised and they give it their all, no matter if they're going for the title or they're in mid-table or they're towards the bottom of the table. There's no quarter giving their ass, to be fair.
It's coming into the end of the season here, so of course you have the advantage now with the games in hand. If you win those games in hand, you could go above Greenisland. You could start to then put distance between yourself and other teams below that as well. But you're always used to playing catch up when it comes to league games. You have done that notoriously because of your previous cup runs as well. Do you think that gives you an advantage going into the end of the season, that you are used to that and you can use it when you're going forward, when you're playing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, that it's just normality almost for you guys?
Yeah, 100%. Experience is absolutely priceless in any walk of life. You can't buy it, and we've been in this position before, so it's fancy ourselves to with a similar outcome at the end of it. But believe it or not, this is I sent all the boys a run in for the next load of fixtures and stuff. The big games. It's actually lesser than what we have had in previous seasons because of cup competitions, and we've won out. So we're happy enough with our running. There's 3 midweek games, and the rest of them are just Saturdays. The only thing with us, with being such a small squad, is a couple of injuries, a couple of suspensions or whatever, and our seconds are flying, but we don't really like interrupting their season, taking a couple of their high performers away, but needs must.
Yeah, exactly.
They're on the run in for their title as well.
You mentioned earlier last year, so you were used to winning so much that last year was obviously a bit of surprise and maybe a kick in the teeth that you were pipped to the 2A title in the last day of the season against Finaghy, and then you went on to lose the Corey Cup final. But do you think that that's kind of almost given your boys a mentality shift, where they've realised that they maybe have to work harder to make sure they achieve the win trophies and going forward?
Yeah. Last season I felt a kind of lull in our squad. We had a big push this season. COVID got in the middle of that. I don't even know what year that was, but the season we had was interrupted by COVID. We had given that a big push to be our last junior football season and push on to intermediate. And I think that was a massive mentality wise. Not giving them an excuse, but I think that was a setback for us to have another. It's like reset. You had to play a season again, and then it was like another season in 2A where we were looking at we should be in 1C, hopefully pushing on this season. I think that was difficult, but 100% a wake up call for the boys. Bangor beat us in that final. A well organised side, big physical, and they earned that win. The absolute blood, sweat, and tears went into that. And again, the title of Finaghy went down to the wire. Again, best team wins the league, and they again put blood, sweat, and tears into that whole season. It was 2 good games against them. They didn't beat us the whole season, but we had then that backlog to try and clear, and we went down to, I remember one night, and I think it was Portavogie. We went down, and it was a Tuesday night. It was it was 6:30. I think the boys were all working to 5 again. Call it excuses or whatever, but I just remember that night getting down there, and the pitch is soggy, and boys are just out of work, and they're like they no more want to be there than anyone else. But and Portavogie weren't doing great in the league, and they came out and flattened us. I think it was 4-0, and our boys were looking around them going like, "What is going on here?" And they tried to turn that around, and then go and beat Finaghy in the last game of the season. It was a big ask, and they just fell short for a change. I mean, usually it was same old. We were able to find some bit of magic, some bit of luck. But I think we were just running out of steam, because I think it was like it felt like an extended season almost. From that COVID interrupted season.
Yeah. Plus as well, like when you said about your last year in junior football, you were hoping for the COVID season. You actually got to finish the junior cup and win it, and that was like the pinnacle, which was we're aiming for as well. So that was like, this is us finished, but we'll do back again. And then that must have been even more of a kick in the teeth, because that was always meant to be the pinnacle for you guys, I'm sure. Like,
yeah, but it was kind of surreal. As you said, it felt like it came to a natural conclusion. The junior cup win, and that's it, and then you go on up and play intermediate. But I mean, obviously things happen in the club as well. Passing to George, the chairman, Mr. Willowbank, that obviously affected everyone in the club. We got that junior cup over the line just as he was actually kicking into hospital. The boys didn't know. I didn't tell them after the game, because I didn't want it to become too emotional for them or put too much pressure on them either.
Yeah.
You know, they felt like they had. I mean, if they maybe went out there knowing George wasn't doing too well, it may have been too much for them. You know, mentally. So all that wrapped into one is kind of why I feel we didn't really finish with our same kind of a same bang at the end of the season, the same title, and run on and take the trophy. And it was all just kind of stewing. I felt, and intermediate football has provided a new challenge for everybody, a freshness. We hit the ground running. Then first game was the Irish Cup against Armagh, and it was like a new buzz. Everything around you is new. You know, first Irish Cup game for the vast majority of our boys. First Irish Cup game for the club. First Irish Cup game I was involved in, and what a game it was. But yeah, everyone's buzzing. Back to challenging and fancying ourselves in every single game. And hopefully, well, Greenisland and Saturday here, hopefully it's another similar result that was 2 weeks ago, but we'll see.
Yeah, mate, it's Greenisland and Saturday. It's obviously a huge game. And at your stage, do you think winning that game will obviously get you closer to them in terms of points, but you've loads of games in hand. But do you think that gives you a real edge going into the end of the season if you do happen to win that game?
I think it does. It gives us a cushion. Just if we do have a day like that Port Bogey last year, we do go away and we aren't at it, and we are turned over. It just gives you that bit of insurance. But the boys don't think that way anyway. It'll be we're going out and it's just one game at a time. You just tick them off, and Greenisland's the next one, and then we won't even worry about it. That's why I don't even extend out the whole schedule that we had for the running for the season, but I'll have to because of just
work
games
and stuff like that.
Yeah. So like to keep the focus one game at a time, but the boys will remain that the night of training will be ready to the game on Thursday, and no one's taking Greenisland for granted. They're a very, very high quality team. I think they put out the Mac in, was it the Clarence?
I think it was,
3-1 not too long ago. So down in the cage, and the Mac are flying this season. So that speaks volumes of how high quality they are, despite being in 1C.
I was going to ask you, is there any other games you're looking at the rest of the season? It'll be a tough place to go or whatever, but like you said, you're looking one game at a time, so you're not even thinking that far ahead. But I know you still have to play Finaghy again, and is there any other promotion contenders who you still to play as well?
So we've got Finaghy, Stainfield are in the round there. We played Stainfield twice, and very, very early on, actually in a cup competition and in the league. And I don't think our boys quite appreciated how hard people said they were. They were very, very tough to beat. Again, very organised, and down at their pitch, it was tight enough. We only beat them by 1 goal the second time, and then the first time it was 2 goal difference. But I think only now our boys are realising how good those results were and how good those performances were, because
where they're sitting in the league, they're
there to be respected. They've earned the respect. They're a very good side. And I think that'll be a hard game, even though we're at home that day. Between them and Finaghy, that'll be 2 games. It'll be tough. And away to Woodville and that was when they played last week. When it was called off due to the weather. So over there, midweek game, I dare say that'll be a tough game as well. We beat them 4-0 up at our pitch, so I dare say that they have a score to settle.
Yeah. And then you've got Tullyconnor out of the way. You've still shorts to play as well.
Yeah, shorts. I'm glad Tullyconnor was out of the way, because we played them early on in the season as well. And again, we equalised the last game. It was a face-to affair between both sides, and it ended with a handshake, so it was all fine. But they can count themselves very unlucky not to have won that day. But just glad to get that out of the way that weekend. So it's another big tick in the box, and all eyes on Greenisland and Saturday.
I was going to say, mate, good luck for your busy schedule at the end of the year, but this is actually a quiet schedule for you compared to normal, so it's not as bad as it always is. But here,
this is happy, please.
Thanks very much for coming on. I really appreciate it, and wish you best of luck rest this season. Like, at the moment, you're in the driving seat. Massive games coming up, and I'm sure you boys will take them as always do, just full throttle.
100%. That's the plan anyway. So we'll see. We'll see after Saturday.
Brilliant, mate. Thanks very much again for coming on. I really appreciate it. And I'm definitely going to get you on for a longer interview in the future because you've been hiding from me for too long.
100%, Gary. Cheers, man. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Bye. I'm here with Chrissy Stewart from Finaghy, who is my first ever second time interviewee on the podcast. Chrissy, how are you doing, mate?
Not too bad, guy. Yep. Thanks for having us on again.
Yeah, no worries at all. Just looking at the league table. It's your first year in 1C in intermediate football. Yeah. How have you found this season so far?
I can, we've enjoyed it. Obviously, the first time the club's been at that level in our history, so it was a season of firsts. Stealing Sons and Irish Cup and intermediate. So a few distractions away from the league, but boxes sort of ticked for the club, and we've enjoyed it, and we've been competitive, continue to be competitive, which was the main aim coming into the season,
Yeah, as 2A winners last year, you probably would have been coming in, obviously yourselves and Willowbank coming up, and then a couple of other strong teams in 1C who probably just missed out in promotion last year. You would have been considered one of the challengers for the title. How have you found it this year in 1C?
No, obviously we believe we have the squad to compete, and it's turning out that way. We're still in the mix, although we're on probably treading a fine line here over the next few weeks. We're right on the edge of, probably a few points dropped, and I think it'll be beyond our reach. But 8 games to go, anything's possible, so we just got to keep trying to tick them off one at a time. I believe we have the squad to be competitive, and talking to people, they've said, when teams come up out of 2A, they usually push on through 1C, but I knew with the likes of Tullycornet, Framers put together a good squad, and Greenisland were still there. I think it's probably the most competitive it's been in the last few seasons anyway,
Yeah, it's one of them things as well where you're coming up, but it's such a quick turnover, and then like you said, the first just to get the Irish Cup first time, and you almost get too excited about being up there, and then you forget that you've a league to compete for at times.
Yeah, which is the league is your bread and butter. You know what I mean? I know it's nice to have a cup run, and we've been lucky enough to have a few of them over the last few years. But the league's the club wants to keep moving forward. You know what I mean? And I think we have progressed. Again this year, both the first and the seconds, which is great. The seconds are still in a chance for a 3F. I think it's 3 teams go up from 3F, so they are in and around the 2. So they're have a big run in coming here as well. So the club has moved forward again, and we've enjoyed it. It's been a struggle in times. I think a lot of clubs have found that coming out of COVID. We've been absolutely crucified with injuries this year. It's not an excuse. You don't use it as an excuse, but it's the craziest season I ever remember with injuries at the club. And some weeks we've run the line like we're maybe only having 1 or 2 subs in each squad. But I know there's other clubs in the same boat, so we just kick it in the chin and try to put out 2 competitive squads and push on.
In terms of your games left, is there any particular games you're focusing on, or is it just one game at a time, or who's your remaining opponents?
It's that old cliche, isn't it? Especially the situation we're in, we're going to have to take it one game at a time. With 8 left, so it's 3 away. Woodvale on Saturday, Willowbank, and who's the other away game? Oh, it slipped my mind now. The other away one. Oh, Shorts on a Tuesday night. And then we've Greenisland at home on the 15th of next month. So, but you know what it's like. You can't look ahead to Greenisland. There's no point. You know what I mean? Like Woodvale on Saturday, we're doing all the at our place. Woodvale, it probably hasn't happened for this season, but with good players in there, that'll hurt you on the day if you're not on your game. So
I suppose you you could easily look forward to going. The Green Island game is a massive game, but any slip-ups leading up to it, and you could be out of it by then. So
what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no point looking forward. And I know it's that old, one game at a time, but it literally is. We 8 games to go. Willowbank, and I think it's fair to say, Willowbank's way on the driving seat. They haven't lost a game all season. They've been consistent. Green Island have been the same. One defeat. 3 or 4 draws. So the two of them are on the right side of it. We're playing catch up, but there's no reason why it can't happen. Like, Willowbank, Green Island here on Saturday. So,
somebody's going to drop points.
Got to give there.
Yeah.
So two good sides. Saintfield's in between us. I think with 3 games in hand in Saintfield, but just because you games in hand, it's not a given.
Yeah. And then the Willowbank first game of the season, that was the very first game of the season, wasn't it? It was almost like a 2A game again.
First game, but like it was a ding dong. 1-0, 1 each, 2-1, 2 each, and then I think the Bank scored like a 93rd minute or something. You know what I mean, to win it, and like it was always going to be that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what could you do? We just looked at each other and laughed after the game because it was a crazy game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that, like, I'll say we didn't deserve to get beat, but both sides were going for it right to the end. And we're playing in the last match this season. And you hope you've ticked 7 games off and you've something to play for against them. And
was it last game of the season again? Yeah.
Last game of the season again.
2 years in a row.
Well, that's the fixtures that come out that are. They're provisional. I think they can change, but it's down to the 29th, so nearly to the same date as well as last year.
Right.
So, hopefully we get the job done in the next 7 games leading up to it, and we can
something to play for.
Go at it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In terms of going forward as a club, obviously promotions are in this year. You're still in the mix for it. The long-term aim for the club is have got a good setup at Knockbreda this year as well. Is the aim then to just keep pushing up through the leagues and try and go as high as you can, just keep the momentum riding?
Yes, of course it is. And like I've already hopefully got people on board for next year to come in and strengthen the squad. We actually tried to get one done there halfway through the season, but nearly got caught out with a 10-game rule. You know what I mean? So we've already got sort of things happening in the background that'll make us stronger, and I don't expect anyone to move on. So if it doesn't happen this year, we'll give it our all. Then we'll come back nice and early for pre-season, and we'll just get ready to go again. The club's working hard in the background too. Obviously, we are at Knockbreda. There's a good relationship there. It's went okay with them this year. It's yourself, ground sharing. It's hard sorting out fixtures, especially with them being an Irish League club. But it's worked out well for us. Got us where we need to be. They know that it won't be forever. Our long-term goal is to get back to Wedderburn. I've lived at Wedderburn or in Ernville all my life. And that's the club needs an identity, and I don't want long-term to be away from there. But it's going to take time. Trying to work with a council and things going on in the background. It's a slow process. So for the foreseeable, we have a good relationship there with Knockbreda, and it will probably continue.
What about yourself? Have you had to put the boots on again this year? Are you retired finally?
Well, no. I've had to do sub a few times, and probably more than I wanted. I love playing, but when everyone's there, there's no need. You know what I mean? But as I said, injuries have been crazy, and if you look down through the squads, there's probably not too many I haven't been involved in through injuries or but haven't played too many minutes. Maybe if things are going all right, 20 minutes at the end or something. Because I would love
keep yourself taking over.
I love playing, but there comes a time where if everyone's there's no need, as I say, but
it's putting the faith in your squad as well.
Huh?
So it is. It's putting the faith in your squad as well. You have
Absolutely.
to do it also.
And the squad's there. It's been a crazy right from pre-season. Pre-season was probably one of the worst pre-seasons I've experienced as a player and a manager, just in terms of getting people together. There was holidays as it is, and then people started picking up injuries, and then 2 squads, first and seconds, playing on a Saturday it was a nightmare,
Yeah.
you know. But and unfortunately, it's sort of that theme has continued through the season. You know, you seem to get two back, two get injured, or two are away, or you know. So
yeah,
but it is what it is. You know,
yeah.
there's no point in worrying about it. Like you just do what you can.
Well, mate, I really appreciate you coming on. I really want to thank you for doing so,
No
especially
problem.
so late on a Monday night.
I think everyone's missed it. You know, it was brilliant going through lockdown and all that, kept everyone going, give everyone a lift, listening to all the stories. So I think you seen the reaction when you put it up last week. Everyone was looking forward to them coming back.
Mate, I was shocked, to be honest.
No,
I never thought anyone would have had an interest, but no, I'm glad to get it back because it was something I really enjoyed doing. We all love talking football, like, so
absolutely,
I'm glad I got it back.
And it's, you know, great hearing, you know, people that have been around the game for a long time too, and their stories and how their clubs are going, you know.
Thanks very much, mate. I appreciate that.
No, good.
And
good.
I wish you best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, hopefully you keep driving the club forward as you have done so far.
Well, fingers crossed. It won't be through the water trying, you know what I mean? We'll give it everything to see where it can go here and over the next 8 games. So
brilliant, mate. Thanks very much again. Cheers.
No problem, guy. Thank you, mate.
I just want to say a final thank you to our sponsors, Next Gen Power and Pizza Co. Thank you so much for your support, guys. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thanks again.